7, but it's okay. This is Navajo Grandma, Yate, and we are ready to do this live video, and I hope I have quite a crew out there, and I'm excited to answer some questions. So, I am in the process of, I'm going to start answer some of the questions.
Someone says hi.
Hello.
Hello, Grandma, from Trina.
Hi, Trina.
Professor Danger, yo.
Oh, Professor, wonderful. My son is reading some of this to me.
All right. Yeah, they're coming on quick. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Grandma. Hello from Oklahoma.
Woohoo.
If you want to put where you're from, hello from Michigan. It's a little easier for us to keep up with it. Cheryl Smith, hi, Grandmother. Or hi, Grandma. Becca
That's
S,
wonderful.
hello. Got 44 people on right now. So.
Okay.
So why don't you start over because the
Okay, so
barely getting on there.
Again, we're gonna go roll it again. Yate, Danae, Masan, and Ishlin. This is Navajo Grandma, and I'm welcoming you to our live question and answer towards, guess what? All kinds of fun stuff. Okay. The first question that I mean, Grandma's got her notes, you know me, and I wrote down some of these questions, and Brenda Ann and Golden Girl asked Grandma this question. What is your Navajo name? Well, my Navajo name is Bijint Ba. It means braided maiden Indian warrior. So, just a braided maiden warrior. And that is exactly what I am. And here is from Maria Frost. What is your favorite Danae tradition? Now, you got to remember, Grandma is a little older, and it used to be a lot of fun stuff, but you kind of get to understand what life is all about. But all my life, it has been prayer. That is a tradition that is taught to me as a child by my Nali, my Biji, my mother, my father. And my grandfather, I told you we used to go out and we would, Grandpa would pray early in the morning and put pollen in our mouth and up on our head. Side note, I used to get the pollen for myself and get a big scoop and put a whole gob in my mouth, and didn't know, Grandpa didn't let me do that anymore because you're supposed to take a little bit. I used to clog it in my mouth. Anyways, so that is, it's prayer. It's my favorite tradition. And then next is Leroy Curtis. He said, what are the colors of the 4 mountains, the 4 sacred mountains? Okay. Now I'm going to say this in Navajo, okay? The east is basically, now I'm reading my notes because it's like, it's kind of an emotional thing, but there's the Blanca Peak is called Cisna Ginny, and that is white. That's the east. And then you go south, and that's Tsotzit, and that is blue and it's turquoise. You go back to the west, and that is Dog-o-Slid, San Francisco Peak, and that is abalone yellow. And then if you go left or north, that is black for the Bensaw. So those are the colors that Leroy Curtis wanted to know, and Grandma gave you the answer. So here's another question from Warhouse Films, and they said, what is your favorite, I always say not Navajo, but Danae food? And Grandma's favorite is the Nanes Kadi with Anaheim chili. Oh, the ultimate, my best. I just love the plain tortilla and throw chili in it, slap it together, and grandma that's my happiness. That's my joy. That is my favorite Danae food, okay? Then, let me see, we're gonna turn the page. And this is from Esther Stump, okay? Esther, I hope you're listening. What do Native Americans eat for desserts and sweets? Okay. Well, I made a whole list, and somebody answered the question for me to these people, but it's okay. This is what I wrote, my list of 7 things, because you remember, we don't have candy and all kinds of stuff, only at the trading post. We had soda and popcorn and anything to rot our teeth. But as far as the Danae people, the sweet things were the cheech chin, the sumac berries, and then you mix that. They also made their own sugar. And unlike the sugar that we have now, the granulated sugar, nothing like that. It was actually incredible, and they would mix that, and it made it sweet. Husk on is another one. This is the yucca, just a yucca plant, and out there it gets bananas on top of it. Little fat bananas about this big, and they're like bunched, just like the regular bananas you eat. And we would either fry them or we would eat them. I just ate them. But it was kind of hard to get to them because you have to, there's all these pointy, sharp things from the yucca. As well as the cactus flower. Now there's the cactus it's called prickly pear. And you have to, when you take it off, you have to be very careful how you take it off because it's full of, thorns. And my grandma used to put it in, burn it in the charcoal to burn off all the pricklies. And then we would open up, and it was usually ripe and wonderful. Oh my goodness. It's almost like the texture of raspberry jam. Oh, I just want to bring all of you to my place and just, oh, if I could just have you taste these. It's wonderful. Now that is sweet. And it's usually ripe. I like everything ripe. And anyways, and then there's also the Indian paintbrush. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's a red flower. It's beautiful. And if you take the flower off of it and you eat the stem, the bottom of the flower, you suck on it. It's like Kool-Aid. So awesome. Very, very tasty. And you can also eat the flower itself. There are portions of it that is poisonous. So, you have to be very wise not to do it without someone who knows what they're doing. We just know. Now, then also, the dze, which is that, the juniper berries. We ate those when they're ripe. And they're wonderful. Also, when the girls had their puberty rites, the ceremonies, what they would do is bake the cake with raisins, and that is a treat. Okay, that was another treat for sweets. And they also make blue corn pancakes and different things to put sweet stuff with blue corn, kind of like the blue corn mush, and it's wonderful. It's very tasty. And so we're not talking about popcorn and soda here. We're talking about natural, sweet, wonderful, wonderful desserts. Okay, and now we're going to move on. Here is Eva Constancio.
Ask if she's watching.
And Eva, I hope you're watching. Wave your hand. I don't know, I can't see anything. And Janice Horner, I hope you both are watching, because it says, what is your favorite memory? And guess what I said? Okay, now I don't know if you can appreciate this because you don't ride in a horse and wagon every day, but I did. Most of my childhood life. I used to hang out in the back and drag, when grandma wasn't looking, my vision wasn't looking, I'd hang out backwards, let my hair drag in the weeds, and I just drag my hand along the back of the wagon. That was my favorite. You don't know, but that was my fun thing to do. So I don't know that you guys can comprehend anything I'm saying, but it is so fun. Now, that was a short answer, and anyways. So now, let's see. May, I hope you're watching. It says, what do you do for fun to recreate? And Grandma loves to dance. Grandma loves to play baseball. Baseball, I love baseball. I'm the best pitcher on the earth. My kids can attest to this because every night we had baseball games, and Grandma loves to. I could hit it out of the park, and I could play any position, first, second, short, whatever. I love it. So enough of that. That has nothing to do with Navajo traditions. I'm just asking. I just wish you guys had asked more about the traditional things. But anyways, so here is another question. Here is Bonnie Crozier King. Bonnie, I hope you're watching. She said, what to do when you are unwell and in your heart you want to do so much, but your body just won't follow. Okay, so Bonnie, I like that because as you take care of your body, and the only thing I can say for that is that eating right and drinking lots of water, resting, and the stresses of life, and in the Navajo, Danae, the cultural way, when we were stressed or when things we didn't feel well, our grandmothers used to put some salve on us and then rub our arms and our legs and our feet, and there was just and my grandfather made sure that we would drink extra water. And I don't know how much we hydrate ourselves, but I wanted to say this because a lot of us take for granted our precious bodies, and you need to drink lots of water. And that's just one thing that I wanted to add here, because our bodies are sacred. And that's about all I'm going to say about that. Get a massage. Massage your, whatever. Those are things that I wanted to say because I felt like you were really down on that, and you sounded like you really needed somebody to say something to you. But anyways, that's one. At least I love you, Bonnie. I'm glad you asked. Now, Missy B. Okay, Missy, I hope you're there. Why or what inspired you to start this wonderful channel? Oh goodness, that's a big story. Okay, for a long time I've been wanting to do this. And I want my son to come over here. This is Keaka Okalani. It means a lovely smile of heaven. He is one of my babies. This is my son.
I'm a little embarrassed.
And he is the one that said, Mom, your words and the things you've always said to me kind of drives me nuts because I hear it now and then. I'm going around doing things, and I remember the stories and all the stuff. And so he's the one that, my sweetheart here, my Keaka Okalani, he said, Mom, how about let's do this? And we proceeded. Do I say anything?
I just want to say, so my family, we started a YouTube channel a few years back, and one of the things that we asked our mom to do was to make fry bread with my daughter. So some of you have probably seen the video. If you look up Navajo fry bread on YouTube, you'll see Navajo grandma here and my daughter making, and my niece also making fry bread together. And we saw that there was just so much feedback that was so positive about it. And it was a really good video, and it was really personal, and we just wanted to share a little bit about what, about our culture and things that we are grateful for. And then and kind of led into several other videos that we watched, and the string games and a few of these other ones. We had a whole bunch of other videos that we thought would be really cool, but we sat there and thought, this isn't good for just our channel. And a lot of the feedback from maybe some of you that watched it from our channel, they suggested that we make a channel for Navajo grandma. And so over the years that we had our channel, and still have our channel, we had acquired a lot of video equipment and things. And during COVID, on a cold night, where I hadn't talked to anybody in my family for about 2 weeks because of COVID, you were scared to go outside. At least I was a little hesitant. My mom called me up and said, "Hey, you can come over, but we're going to have a fire in the backyard and we're going to drink Navajo tea." And so we were super happy because we really hadn't left anywhere with our kids for a few weeks. And in the time being, we had heard a lot of stories of different people on the Navajo reservation, some elders that had passed away and that weren't doing too good. And we were talking about all, how sad that was. And as I was talking to my mom, I said, the saddest part for me is hearing that these people didn't have an opportunity to pass on their stories. And so in that process, we decided, I talked to Navajo grandma here and just said, "What do you think? Would you be interested in doing more videos and putting them together?" And, and Rochelle, who's my wife, and I, we can help you and get them on, because in the case that something ever happened to her, I would feel terrible if my mom's stories didn't get told and my kids didn't get to hear them. And so, because that's how bad I felt about all those people on the reservation who didn't get to hear their grandparents' last stories, and they took them for granted, and in some cases they're gone forever now. And so my mom, who has been one of my sidekicks ever since I was little, my mom's done videos like this, not necessarily videos, but live presentations for every class that I've been in since I was about 6 or 7 years old. And even for my kids as well in their schools, and has done a nice little presentation that she's put together, and it just makes me happy to be here with you and kind of explain that a little bit with you. But yeah, she's as fun a person as she says she is, and she's got a good heart, and I think that's the nice thing about these videos, is that we're trying to create them in a way that you see the real side of us, and the blessings that culture has played in our lives. And so I'm more than done. So sorry, I'll be quiet. Have a good night.
This is my sweetheart, and I want my other little pretty girl to come here. Yukiko. Kiko-chan. This is Yukiko-chan. She is this is the baby of the family. And she's my pretty girl, and she also helps Mommy. And we all kind of got together, and it's bringing our family together. And this is what this whole life is about, family. And we fight, don't worry. We argue, and we break each other's heart, but we also love each other even more. So I hope you understand that. And these kids did not, in one of the questions was, how do you take care of children and teach them values without a father? And, as a single mother, my children grew up very, very healthy, and they're very well, they have a lot of strength, and I love them so much. And do you want to say anything?
Hi.
Sorry, you're about to answer.
So I help Navajo grandma, my mom, with the Instagram. So if you get a reply, that's usually me, but I'll talk to Navajo Grandma and then we'll reply together. So yeah, so we're just yeah, I'm helping in that way.
But I love this one. This is my pretty girl. She's the baby, little one. So I love you, baby. Thank you. And I know this is so impromptu, but I want you to see that I do have incredible children, and our families are just normal like yours, and they're wonderful. Oh, I better get going because Grandma's going to get all teary-eyed, and we don't want that. So that is a good loaded question. Thank you, Missy B. And thank you so much for asking. Now, I'm going to ask, let's see here. Here's some questions that came from Instagram. And Alma Cat said, do you have a cookbook? Alma Cat? Yes and no. It's kind of weird. I need to write things down, but I think it's all up here. It's just like I hear these comments about different grandmas, and they say, oh, grandma just put these things together. And you know, you get so used to just not measuring and not writing things that's all in here. And I see that I need to write things down. And
Hannah Powell says, as a single mother myself, you inspired me.
Hannah, thank you, pretty girl. You just said a nice thing, and every time you say things that are nice, I call it hojon, because it means you just brought such beauty into my life. And I love you, Hannah. I know it's not easy, but I love you so, sweetheart. I want all of you to know, whoever's watching, Grandma prays for you all the time. I'm very prayerful, and I want you to know that. You're not all, we're not all having great moments, but sometimes we do, and I pray for you that you're safe and you're happy and that you're making decisions and using wisdom the best you can and being able to deal with life, sometimes alone, sometimes with family, in whatever circumstances that you're in. Grandma prays for you, honey, all of you. You're my sweethearts, and you're all my grandchildren. Remember that. So here goes another one. I haven't read these yet, so who knows what's going to come out. Giggle Seeker. Here's to you, Giggle Seeker. My question is about the yucca shampoo. Can we buy and use the yucca from the grocery store to make the shampoo? Well, yes, if you buy yucca from a grocery store, do you know what I kind of learned a little bit about this. You can also use, you can blend it. Just make sure you take these, you peel it and you use the meat, and you can blend it with a cup of water, and you've got the saponins in there, and they suds up, and they're good for your scalp. And yes, and I always, if that's what it's for, make sure it's a shampoo yucca, okay? The Spanish bayonet is the one that grows all over in the Southwest. So if you can find that, that would be even better. I mean, that's my opinion, okay? Remember, this is Grandma's opinion. I'm not a doctor or professor. I am Grandma. Now, here is MC Gen 01, okay? Where is your favorite place to vacation? Get me out in the desert and I'm happy as a lark. Put me in a hogan and I'm happy. That is what I love. I love the open. If you can tell, that's where I do my videos. It's so refreshing, okay? And I've learned so much about the magnetic theories and things like that, and I know that because my grandfather taught me that when you walk on the earth with your feet and you are away from the cement and the foundations, we have that blessing to go out there, and it is very rejuvenating. I go to the Navajo, all around the reservation, and it's so wonderful. It is. It's very rejuvenating. Here is another one. PC Martic 12057. I hope you know who you are. I've only been following you for a few weeks, and I'm fascinated by your stories and history you tell. Also, I love you repeating the Navajo words and the English words so we can become familiar with your language. My daughters and I discuss what I learned when they come over for dinner. How do you say hello, friend, and love in the Danae language or Navajo language? I'm not sure what to call it or if it's the same. I love to listen to you speak. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, how do you say hello? It is Dinefbazad, okay? You say hello is, I always say yat-a, okay? Yat-a. And friend, you use it possessive. It's if it's my friend, you say shik-is, okay? Shik-is, my friend. If it's yours, I go nik-is, okay? Or those people over there, I say bik-is, okay? So shik-is is my friend. And also love, okay? Depends on how you say, like ayonoshne. That's, there's not, I don't know that there's a word just for love, but it's more so that you're expressive of the love. You say, ayo anoshne. Okay, now the next one, Amanda.Conway22. Amanda, I hope you're watching. Okay, hey, Navajo Grandma. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for your videos. I love them so much. I've always been very interested in the Native culture. My question is, what is your favorite piece of jewelry and why? I have so many pieces of jewelry. Guess what? My husband bought this for me today. My honey, I love him so. He's the one that I just had a heart situation, and I love him with all my heart. He's sitting there. I just love him. Do you want to come sit by me?
Good on.
But everything he gives me, I told you, remember all the jewelry, the big fat, I was going to wear it, the big fat chunky one. My husband.
Tell about those rings.
Oh, I don't want to flip you off. Sorry. Here's they're on my middle finger here. My husband is so kind to me, and he knew I grew up very poor. I'm not going to cry. I'm trying not to. I grew up very poor. I didn't have anything. And when he came into my life, he used to ask me questions about my life, and he got to know the hardships that I've been through. I told him I didn't have a Barbie doll when I was little. I didn't have any toys. And I never had any jewelry. And you know what he's done since then? He's filled my life full of jewelry. Everywhere we go, he'll say, hey, that looks good on you. And sometimes I really overemphasize that too, because I try on everything. My mother always said, try on everything, and one day it will be yours. I want to pass that on to you. If you ever try anything on, it'll come back to you. And that's what I learned from my mom, and every time I try something on, my husband bought it for me. And it was so kind. And we're not well-to-do, but he always sacrificed. Because that's what I'd cry and tell him, thank you. And he would say, I'm doing this because I love you, and there are things you didn't have, and I want you to have them now. Anyways, we'll pass on that question.
Lori Disney says this is the best. This is the best channel.
Oh, Lori, thank you so much, honey. Lori Disney, love you, honey. Will you make it the best? Honey, I love you. Okay, and here's another one. I'm trying to not blubber. Thank you, honey. Oh, my emotions get the best of me. I'm sorry. You should hear me pray about you all. I have no makeup by the time I finish because I love you all so much. Here is Katrina, .119. What are your favorite hobbies besides social media? Now I want you to know, Katrina, social media is not my hobby. Okay? Honestly, it's my children's hobbies. And they're the ones that are involved in it. I'm not even a hobby. It's nothing. Okay, so that's just something I want you to know. Now I'm going to get back to my questions on my side over here. Denise Martinez said, talked about yucca. How do you dry it? Soak. Okay. How do you use it or use it? How do you dry it? Okay. Would I just say, you know what, with yucca, it's better to use it when it's fresh, but if you do let it dry, don't peel it. I would put it in. My grandfather always used like a sackcloth. It wasn't a plastic because it'll mold if you put it in plastic. And people have told me that you can freeze it. I've never done that, but you know, why not? Put it in something that you can freeze it in, and then, or you can dry it in like a flour bag that's been cleaned. My grandfather used to fill that and hang it up. And after you dry it, I know it still has a lot of properties in there. I would use a blender and first I'd peel it. You know, you need to soak it after you're going to rejuvenate it, and then soak it, and then put it in a blender, and add water, and you're doing the same thing as crushing it and getting the saponins out. So that's so much, Denise. If I didn't answer you, just tell me what you think. Okay, here you go. Paula Martin, okay. We already said this. Friend, hello, goodbye, love, and Navajo. I hope I answered that. Hagone is goodbye. Yat e and shik is and ayonoshne. Now here is Carrie Corser. Oh, this is the big one. Carrie Corser, I hope you're listening, because I'm not going to stand up. This was a loaded question. It said, if you could stand before one nation and address us with a message from your heart and the Navajo Nation, what would you tell us that could become a catalyst for healing for all of us? Okay, you really put a heavy one on me there, okay? Because I don't expect to save the world, but one thing I thought about was my grandfather. Now remember, all of my teachings here and in my heart, a lot of it came as a child. And this is what I'm remembering and I'm teaching you. And he was a councilman for the Navajo Nation. The one thing that he suggested and wanted more than anything was to serve one another. Because everybody now, right now, I don't care where, they make it political, they make it crazy. Everybody's for themselves. They're for power, they're for just a glutton. So what I'm saying is that when you serve others, you care about the person. Serve your children, serve your family, your neighbors, serve others. And it just expands into goodness, no matter what. You cannot take goodness from it. So serving that is so that I'm going to leave it there because service is a wonderful blessing. And anyways, that's why I could stand up here and tell you a lot more, but we're going to end it there because I might get a little crazy with that. All right, now here's another one. Hyala Silverkin, okay? And the question is there a belief that everything has a spirit? Okay. And there was like 3 or 4 or 5 questions I think you had there. But what I'm going to say about that is, yes, everything does have a spirit. I'm going to share you one little quick thing that happened to me. I remember when I was little and I kicked a rock. Grandpa was not happy with me. He said, you go over and you apologize to that rock. And you know, in my little mind, I'm thinking, why are you doing this? And Grandpa says, that rock is an element and it lives. And you need to apologize. There's a purpose for it. So yes, everything about you is alive. It exists. It was created for you. So I will stop there, and yes, remember that. You have respect. I don't care if it's the plastic, things that are around, the blankets. Everything is an element. It lives. It exists. It was created for you by your God. Very, very sober question. Thank you, sweetheart.
Tell Kai McConnett, she's from South Africa.
Who? What?
Hi.
Kai McConnett.
Kai McConnett. You are from South Africa. Hi, sweetheart. I know somebody said they were going to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I hope it's you, honey. Thank you so much for spending and taking your time to watch Navajo Grandma. Love you so much, honey. Love you. Now I'm going to go on to Laura Ellen. And her question was, which phase of your life was your favorite? I learned from the most. And again, it's going to go back to my childhood. I learned a lot from my grandfather and my grandmother. Now, when I say my grandfather and grandmother, I'm saying it in English for you. Because in the Danae way, grandfather and grandmother is your maternal parents, okay? I just want for you to understand that these are grandparents. Why I say it's my Nali, it's my paternal grandfather. My Biji is my paternal grandmother. I mean, yes. And my maternal grandfather and grandmother is my Che or my Masana. And, we kind of, unless you understand that, I know sometimes if people get, the Danae people get critical with me, but I want this whole family of ours to understand that when I say grandparents, I mean when I say Nali and Biji, that is my paternal side. And back to the question, I kind of went off the edge there. But what phase of your life? So because I was brought to my Nali and my Biji on my paternal grandparents, my grandfather, my mother and my father took me there, that I was raised by them, and those are moments that I treasure, and I love that life. It was natural. It was beautiful. Like I said, I slept in a hogan, and looking up look at the stars, and when Grandpa would build the fire, you could see the little bright, like the little lights, and it was just so beautiful, and you could hear the thunder of the fire, and it's so beautiful. There's just not enough time here to say, but that's basically what that was my favorite.
Ask it. Would you guys like to do this again sometime? Question. Just kidding.
Because we haven't even finished. I mean, there's so many questions here.
Yes, there is. I want to have my mom share one embarrassing story, and then I think we can finish up the questions. But I don't know if people know, but my mom didn't learn English till she was 11, and so she only spoke Navajo up until that point. But she always tells a funny story. I was telling my wife about it the other day. Of after my mom was first married, they moved to Los Angeles. And she tells a story because she's like, I'm from the reservation, and she got moved to Los Angeles. And how different it was. So maybe she could share with you her perspective of big city life and give you some perspective on that. And then perhaps I think after that we'll probably call it. But sorry, Mom, for putting you on the spot. But
Well, that's a good question for my son. Well, I mean, you got to remember, I did not, and I don't think you really understand. All my life, I had a myopia. I couldn't see, and that's why I'm telling you, I used to draw. That my mom and dad put me in grade school, and I don't know how I made it to 5th grade because I was blind as a bat. I couldn't see the chalkboard, and I had no idea. I didn't even speak English, and everybody was mumbling, as far as I was concerned. And all I did was I sketched, and so then I'm going to tell you the truth here, okay? One of these missionaries, there were 2 missionaries that. One day my dad said, well, she doesn't speak English. And I know she needs to be among the white people, and she doesn't speak English. And I used to feel bad because my brothers and sisters did. And I remember them putting oil on my head, and they both gave me a blessing. And when I was needed to speak, I spoke English perfectly, and I've been speaking English since. That is a miracle. It's a true story, and it's a reverent thing to know that, because it wasn't that I learned English, it was given to me as a miracle. One moment I didn't speak English, and next moment I did, and my dad says, you girls have diarrhea of the mouth, and that's probably what I got. But anyways, that was what my dad used to always tell me. But anyway, tell us girls. So when I went to the city, and I was married to my children's father, he was Japanese Hawaiian, and he basically, it was crazy. The cities were, the roads were tangled here and there. I didn't even know what was going on. It was just, you were dizzy because life just passed on, It was like you woke up and it was 12 o'clock already and 8 o'clock again to go to sleep. And my mind was like just dizzy constantly because of the fast pace of life that I'd never experienced. You got to remember going from, a slow pace to that. And anyways, and so the experience of, these tall buildings and things like that were just, how many roads, it was just like, it was just incredible. And there was a lot of fear because there were so many different cultures that were intermingling with one another. You could go through one place where there was Jewish people, and then pretty soon you were around, the gangs. And my whole mind was like twisting and turning a lot. But it was interesting. I don't know how I did it, but I learned how to drive there. One time I almost froze on the freeway, in the Pomona freeway, if you know where that is. And just a lot of stuff that happened. This kind of leads into the last thing. There was a question, and I'm not going to say the name of the person. I know who you are. You asked me, have I ever traveled outside of the United States? Yes, I've been to Japan, and I speak Nihongo hanashimasu, skoshi hanashimasu. But I did this because I love the Japanese people. My children are Japanese, Hawaiian, and Navajo Indian. So wonderful. Just wanted to tell you that as a side note. And Grandma's not a dumbbell. I've been around the world, and it's wonderful, and I love you, and I hope you remember that I'm not a psychologist. I'm not anything super duper. I'm not an herbologist. I'm not a doctor. But Grandma has a lot of experience, and if you want to ask me questions, you're welcome to ask. I love you. I love you. Without you, I would not be here. So anyways, we had a nice chat.
If we asked your question,
And
then we're gonna send.
oh, also, guess what? If we did use your question, and I have some more questions here, and I didn't ask, you're still going to be included, okay? Either you will get the fun stuff, the smudger, the white, and the abalone, and guess what? Grandma's throwing in. This is not real, but it's fun. It's a ring. It looks like a Native American ring. So Grandma's gonna send that to you. And here's the other one where Grandma wrote the recipe for what? The blue corn mush called, do you remember? I'm not gonna tell you. Everybody say it. Say it out loud. Tushchin. That's what it's called, tushchin. And guess what? Grandma has the blue corn and a teaspoon of juniper in here for you. So you can make that, and when you're slobbing it down, you can think of Grandma and think yum. So, and then if you remember, where's the brush? Do we have the brush?
Oh, yeah.
We have the hairbrush. And there's a hairbrush here, okay? And somebody's gonna get this one, as well as we have the stirring. Notice there's a difference in this. This is the stirrer, and this is the hairbrush, okay? So somebody's gonna get that fun stuff, as well as, do you wanna get the bag? I'm gonna quickly do this, sorry, just bring the bag. And Grandma's, okay, somewhere along the way. Okay, then I have, remember, the necklace, the juniper necklace, the ze, and
Real quickly, Jasper Kim said, just wanted to say the question and answer was really great. Such interesting stories and precious knowledge. Love your channel and look forward to learning from.
Jasper, thank you, honey. That was such a kind comment. So here's a ring that's gonna come with this, and there's probably, oh, then guess what? Somebody's gonna get yucca. And when we find out where you all are, the yucca's gonna have to come really quick. And I'm going to send that to you. There's gonna be 4 yucca, fresh. So we'll send it to you as quick as we can. And the last thing I'm gonna do, my kids are gonna get mad at me. Look what these are. We are gonna raffle these off soon. And one is a bracelet for a girl and one is for a man. I'm going to measure because not everybody can wear these. So that's coming soon. Just wanted to let you know. a teaser. Is that what you call it? So anyways, Grandma loves you, and I send you my hug, kisses, and prayers, and just know I love you.
Share the videos.
And you know what, another thing, as I'm thinking of this, take the time to share the videos with everyone, and tell them, you have a wonderful grandma, and you want to share your grandma with everybody. So if you can all share, that would be wonderful. The bigger it gets, the greater our family is. Remember, you're my grandchildren, and I love you. I just wish you knew how much I love you and how you've done. Now, I'm not the one that's jumping up and down because there's more people coming in, because it's the more the merrier. The more grandchildren I have, the happier I am. And I just want to love all of you and let you know Grandma loves you. And I know a lot of you have lost your grandmas and your parents and long for them. And I hope, I'm a sad replacement, but you know what, for a moment, I hope I'm okay. Love you so much. Hagonet. Ayo anoshne. Okay? Love you.
Sorry, I